Hey there, tburrier from tburrier.com. Today I want to talk a little bit about the proper mindset when making contacts to let people know that you're in business. And, there's no such thing as a secret agent coffee shop, right? Can you imagine you open a coffee shop and you don't tell anybody about it? You don't put any signage up. You tuck it somewhere in a secluded area and nobody can find it. You wouldn't last very long, would you? Well, you know what? A lot of people are in business, and that's how they function, right? They think that the Field of Dreams thing, if you build it, people will come. No, you got to know about it in order to come, right? So if you work for a big company and that company does tremendous amounts of promotion and marketing and advertising to bring people in the door to talk to you, great, right? But for most people, that's not how it works, right? So you have to think about it like this. Even if you do work for a big company that provides that, there's still a lot of business that you can do by letting the world that knows you know exactly what you do. So regardless of what kind of business you're in, everyone that knows you should know what you do, at least from the perspective of the problems that you solve and the benefits that you provide. They don't have to know every little detail about what you do, because most people don't understand everything about what everybody does anyway, right? And they don't care. They only care about, can you help them, right? Can you make an impact in an area that they need, or can you potentially? And so if you think about this, all business is a numbers game anyway, right? I mean, I call it mathematics with heart, right? If you treat people properly, you come from the right heart space, your focus is on helping others first and how what you bring can bring value to their lives, you're going to do pretty well if you talk to enough people, because that's the nature of how things work. So first, think about it like this. It's really common, right, for people to get caught up in the idea that a successful contact is one that creates a transaction. That's not true, right? So if you think about the statistical numbers, it's as simple as this. The human nature numbers say that if there are 10 people in front of you that need or highly desire what you have to offer, only 2 of them are really ready to act on it for whatever reason right now. And so your job is not to convince the other 8 to try to get a victory. Your job is to find the 2 while helping the other 8 become aware that you exist and creating the foundation of the relationship going forward. So if you think about it like that, every contact you successfully make where the other person isn't rude, right, is a victory for you, because you're either creating awareness, and now people can come into your process of further expanding relationally and over time educating and revisiting and yada, 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 all that. Or you're going to have someone who now drops right into your process of learning to become one of your customers right now. And so if you look at it like that, every contact is a win, right? That's a huge thing to recognize. And so here's a couple things in your mindset that are really, really important. Number one is never prejudge someone as to whether or not they would actually be interested in your product or service if they're at all in your target market. Do not prejudge them based on what you see. Whatever you see about someone is the image they want you to see. It's what they're putting out in the world, right? A lot of people who drive fancy cars are broke, right? Why? Because they're willing to go into debt to drive a fancy car. That doesn't mean everybody does. What I'm saying is it's an example of getting caught up in image, right? So you do not prejudge. You can't know what someone's thinking or feeling or experiencing. That's not your place. It's your place to let them know you have something that might be able to help them in a need or a desired area, period, right? And so whether or not they're ready to act on it, whether or not they really feel like they need that at this moment, that's not yours. You don't own that. But if you don't contact them because you believe they wouldn't be interested, you've automatically made that the truth from an outcome perspective, because you don't contact them. So therefore, you won't be the one they do business with. Pretty simple. So 1, do not prejudge. 2, look at it like you're doing them a favor, right? You are throwing out to them something that can benefit them. And if you don't feel this way about what you are doing, you should be doing something else. right? You're operating incongruently. That's called cognitive dissonance. If you are marketing something that you truly don't believe makes a difference in people, you are not likely to be very successful with that. Right? You're just not, right? So if so you I'm going to go on the premise that you recognize you're doing them a favor, because then they don't just get your product or service, they get you, right? So here's where that person in the big corporation is missing it, right? They're missing the fact that that big corporation is doing all the advertising and marketing. That's all great. That's about the product or service or whatever. It's not about the person, right? People do business with people, right? So you want everyone to know about you in the space, right? You in the space. So you're doing them a favor. That's the second thing. The third is each person you touch is the tip of a network. You don't touch just one person, right? And especially, you especially don't touch just one person if you treat them poorly. If you treat them poorly, you just told 10 people not to do business with you, because that's how it works. If you treat them well, you have a chance over time of referrals and them talking nicely about you, depending on how you do business and follow up, which is a whole different topic. But you have to recognize that every human being is a tip of a network. And so when you touch that person and impact that person and treat that person properly and expose them to the right things and serve them in the right way, right, you are creating opportunities to do much more business than just one person. And the next thing to think about, very important, no single contact will ever make or break your success. There's only one person who will make or break your success, and that's the person in the mirror. So don't get all hung up on anybody being your next biggest client or the next biggest person for your business. Or you don't know what's going to happen. So you don't know what somebody's going to do. So don't waste the emotion on it. I mean, no single person is going to make or break you in anything, right? I mean, it's the bottom line. And so only you, right? Only you. So you just do your job, open the door, be nice, see what happens. And then the last one is your mentality is not that you're going to get from. Your mentality is you're going to give to. See, it's a lot easier to reach out and talk to someone when you understand that you're going to enrich their life if they do business with you. That's a powerful way, as opposed to if they do business with you, you might get richer. way different mindset, right? So those things will help you dramatically. Maybe you need to watch this again. But you can also find this for those of you in a home business. I touch this even deeper in the Blueprint Process digital training. But you get this mindset in place, it helps you reach out and make contacts. And making contacts is how you start the process of succeeding in all things. You just have to do it if you're building something. So, hope that was helpful. My email is below. If you have a question, feel free to shoot it over. As I mentioned, the Blueprint Process digital training, for those of you in a home business, you can go over to tburrier.com and under products, you can check that out. A lot of people have really benefited greatly from it, and it's a super value. So anyway, thanks for being here. Have a great day.